Hi everybody. Today I have in my praxis a very sweet boy, Jimmy, and his father, Daniel. They are only about 10 days here. And maybe Daniel can tell us a little bit what had happened in these 10 days. I must say that Jimmy has autistic spectrum disorder, one of the many variants of autistic spectrum disorder. And it's relatively mild, but nevertheless, experience in 10 days of treatment is impressive. Daniel, please, what can you tell? What were the symptoms before we started?
Yeah, the main symptoms was the hyperactivity, the sleep problems in falling asleep, and the food problems. He didn't want to try new food and was very
negative to new
negative
foods.
to the new foods, yeah.
And that problem with digestion.
Digestion problem, yes, the very important. And with toilet problems, because he was going to the toilet at night.
Yeah, peeing in the night, bedwetting, yeah.
Yeah, and stimulation movements.
Self-stimulation movement, obsessive movements.
Yes. It's more was like hyperactivity with stimulation movements, but there was very light, and they actually gone in 10 days.
Yeah, in 10 days, yeah. So, what is the most impressive? What you noticed in these 10 days?
The most impressive is the stomach problems are left us. The stomach was always full, and now it's you can see the muscles in the stomach, abs muscles. And the toilet problems are gone.
So no more bedwetting in the night.
No bedwetting at the night. No more. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so we only started, and let's see what will be in the next weeks or months.
Yes.
Yeah. Please, Daniel, you can ask your questions. What is interesting? What is interesting in this method, and anything you can imagine?
Yes, the main question is what we can expect further with this treatment.
What we can expect, yeah. To answer this short question, I must unfortunately tell this answer will be much longer than your question.
Okay.
Why? Because the main idea of this treatment is continuous improvement of mitochondria. You know that all processes of our body in our cells, they are energetically supplied, energetically supported by functioning of our mitochondria. And there are many thousands of mitochondria in each cell, and mitochondria are in a constant turnover. They always, there are mechanisms which try to improve mitochondrial quality, because if it doesn't work, if these mechanisms are failing, then accumulation of bad mitochondria, damaged, mutated mitochondria is inevitable. Unfortunately, this happens already during development of germinal stem cells, which take place already in embryo, when a female embryo is so small, several millimeters small. There are already several millions of germinal stem cells, and each of them contains a certain amount of mitochondria. And these mitochondria undergo mutation already in this very early stadium of development. Then, during development, there are several mechanisms which control quality of mitochondria. They select mitochondria of better quality. But unfortunately, nothing is perfect in the nature also, and therefore many damaged mitochondria come into development, into somatic line, and then during the further development from embryo, they can come into brain, into muscle tissue, connective tissue, and this will reveal later as specific symptoms, including symptoms of autistic spectrum disorder. And if we don't do anything, it will just continue. It will start to progress, to multiply like a snowball. Therefore, we need an intervention which selectively targets damaged mitochondria, mutated mitochondria, and then we can control mitochondrial quality during the lifetime. I firmly believe that autistic spectrum disorders are in a very large extent determined and modulated by mitochondrial quality control. And what we do now, with my treatment, we try to improve mitochondrial quality in order to prevent degradation of mitochondria and keep beta mitochondria multiplying during the lifetime. Now, your kid is only 2 years old, and we see already a positive reaction. So I'm sure, I believe firmly that if we continue treatment with proper protocol, he will be fully compensated and he will develop as a quite normal child. Of course, this protocol must be individual, should be individualized, and my experience shows that it is stable improvement. I have now several children of different ages. The oldest is 12 years old, and they are stable, they are developing without any problem.
Okay. And is it normal that the first results are the stomach and the peeing at night problems?
It is very different with different kids. Some of them, first of all, not every one of them has this problem with bedwetting in the night. But in relation to digestive problem, practically all kids with autistic spectrum disorder, they have some problems with digestion because of leaky gut syndrome and all following of consequences. Yes, we see improvement, but this improvement needs to be boosted or even initiated with proper diet. And proper diet includes paleo diet and sometimes even keto diet. Not for forever, we say, that's just an initial push which should be continued for months. But then, during improvement, it can be made not so strict, not so hard. Yes, we see improvements in spectrum can be very different. Some kids, they show first cognitive improvement, some more creativity, they start speaking, they start playing with like normal kids in their age. So it can vary.
Okay. And what kind of supplements and in diet we can use or should use?
Mm-hmm. Supplementation is not always necessary, because if we see good results with just introduction of paleo diet and keto diet, we can continue with minimal supplementation. This is just usually B vitamins, complex B vitamins, then some antioxidants or even precursors. I prefer, for instance, N-acetylcysteine as a precursor of glutathione, and of course omega-3 fatty acids, of course magnesium, sometimes a little bit of melatonin. But in your case, I don't see that much need to introduce many supplements.
Okay.
Yeah? Maybe later we will add something, but at the moment it's okay.
Is it needed to have a diet before
initiating?
Before treatment? Yeah.
Yes, it is highly recommended, because changing the diet to direction of paleo diet, elimination of gluten, elimination of lectins, and of course elimination of high glycemic index carbohydrates is a must. Otherwise we cannot control, we cannot suppress mutated mitochondria, because they prefer high carbohydrate foods. They need glucose and even fructose, and that makes them rave their production of free radicals, and then we see all this clinical picture.
Mm-hmm. And how mitochondrial disorders are working with viruses?
Important question. We have natural virus protection as humoral immunity, which is supplied, which is energetically supplied and informationally supplied with our white blood cells, with lymphocytes. And lymphocytes, they also have mitochondria. So if their functioning is compromised, virus has advantages to spreading out in the body. As soon as we improve mitochondrial quality, lymphocytes will be more addressed, they will recognize viruses much better, they can suppress them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only, this is humoral immunity, but we also have cellular immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Cellular immunity, which is executed with granulocytes, leukocytes, which are more targeted to bacterial infection and to maintenance of homeostasis of the body. Yeah.
Okay. And what is the first signs of mitochondrial disorders, what we can see in babies before 2 years old?
Yeah, this is a good question. First of all, we should differ between mitochondrial mutations, mitochondrial diseases, which are revealed as a very severe disturbances at birth. These children, they can have very severe revelations like very high lactate acidosis in their blood. They can have a very high level of bilirubin in their blood, and there can be some seizures and many objective pathologies. But when we have mitochondrial dysfunction, as mostly in autistic spectrum disorders, then usually it will be not manifested till age of maybe 2 years. Usually they start manifesting at 2 years old, and this is exactly what is known as autistic spectrum disorders, when children just switch from reality, they avoid eye contact, they are not communicating, they don't play as children do usually. So a spectrum of disorders. And mitochondrial dysfunction is, we are able to correct mitochondrial dysfunction with the intervention we now do here.
Okay.
Yeah? Mitochondrial mutation, unfortunately, it's hardly to be controlled. Also, there can be some improvements done, but it is very severe disturbances. But mitochondrial dysfunction can be controlled.
Can we prevent these kind of problems?
Yes, I hope it is possible if we improve mitochondrial quality control during embryonal development.
Mm-hmm.
There was a significant research in late Soviet Union in 80s, so it almost 40 years ago, and there were very good results achieved with preventive treatment with the method I use now, intermittent hypoxic training. But especially a big tema, and I have presentation on this topic. I also educate physicians, obstetric physicians in this field, so this is very promising.
But this should be with mother, not with a kid after the birth.
Yes, it is focused on mother health, on female health as preparation for pregnancy, during pregnancy, and after delivery. Baby can also benefit from this.
From the treatment.
Yes, from the same treatment. Yeah. Okay. Good. No more questions?
I don't know.
Not yet. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for these important questions. Then we will see how we will progress in the next weeks, and we will get back. So stay with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.